Michelle Robinson was born on January 17, 1964, in a small house on the south side of Chicago. The house was not very large, but it was always warm and full of love. Every morning, Michelle woke up early and walked quietly down the narrow hallway. She could hear her mother, Moran, preparing breakfast in the kitchen. She could hear her father, Fraser, putting on his work uniform. Fraser lived with multiple sclerosis, so some days he used crutches to walk. Even when he needed help, he always smiled at Michelle before heading out to the city water plant. Michelle shared a tiny bedroom with her older brother, Craig. Their beds were so close that they almost touched. A simple curtain hung between them for privacy. At night, they whispered stories to each other under the soft glow of a small lamp. They tried not to wake their parents. Those quiet moments taught Michelle that love could fill any space, no matter how small. One spring, Fraser suggested that they start a small garden behind their house. He showed Michelle how to dig into the soil, plant seeds in neat rows, and water them gently each day. Michelle learned words like soil, seed, and sprout. She felt proud when tiny green leaves pushed through the earth. Watching the plants grow taught her patience. She learned that small things can become strong with care and time. Michelle also loved to read. After dinner, she often sat on the living room floor with a book from the local library. The light from the lamp made the pages glow softly. When she found a new word, her heart raced with excitement. She would practice saying the word out loud until she felt confident. Sometimes she read her favorite pages again and again. Her parents listened carefully as she read, encouraging her with kind smiles. Their support made Michelle feel brave enough to try any new story. Life on the South Side could be noisy and busy. There were days when the streets felt crowded and the air was thick with dust. Michelle often heard the sound of basketballs striking the pavement and the hum of passing cars. Still, she found joy in small moments. She watched children play hopscotch on cracked sidewalks. She listened to neighbors calling greetings from their front porches. In these times, Michelle learned to see beauty in her neighborhood, even when it seemed rough around the edges. Every night at the dinner table, Moran and Fraser asked, "What did you learn today?" Michelle loved this question. On some evenings, she spoke about a new math problem she had solved. On other nights, she shared a story she had read or a new word she had learned. Moran would remind her that education could change her life. Fraser would say, "Hard work leads to strength." These words became guiding lights for Michelle. They gave her confidence and a clear sense of purpose. Michelle's early life was full of small but powerful lessons. The close love of her family showed her that support can come from home. The backyard garden taught her patience and care. Her reading routine built her confidence in new words and ideas. The busy neighborhood helped her find joy in simple things. And the nightly dinners reminded her that learning is an act of love. These early experiences formed the roots of Michelle's strength. She carried them with her as she grew older. Whenever she faced a new challenge, she remembered her father's determination and her mother's gentle guidance. She remembered the joy of watching a seed sprout and the thrill of reading a new book. With these memories in her heart, Michelle felt ready to take on any challenge that lay ahead. When Michelle Robinson opened the large envelope from Princeton University, her hands shook with excitement. She had worked hard for many years, and now she held proof that a new chapter of her life was about to begin. She remembered the morning clearly. She sat at the small kitchen table in Chicago with her brother Craig and her parents, Moran and Fraser, watching as she read the words, "Congratulations, you have been admitted." Tears of joy filled her eyes, and her family cheered. In that moment, Michelle felt proud and hopeful. A few weeks later, Michelle arrived at Princeton's campus. Tall stone buildings stood around a wide green lawn. Students walked in groups, laughing and sharing stories from their summer adventures. Michelle felt both excited and nervous. Everything was so new. She carried her suitcase across the lawn, feeling the cool grass under her shoes. She wondered if she would fit in this place so different from home. In her first days, Michelle met other students who came from many backgrounds. She learned that some had visited many countries or attended private schools. Michelle missed her neighborhood's familiar streets and friendly neighbors. She sometimes felt like an outsider. During her first class, the professor spoke quickly and used words she had not heard before. Michelle took careful notes and wrote each new word in her notebook. She wrote down debate, presentation, and collaborate, and then wrote a simple sentence for each word. At night, she read her notes again and practiced saying the sentences out loud. With each practice, her voice felt stronger. Soon, Michelle discovered the Third World Center on campus. This group welcomed students of color and created a space where they could share their cultures and stories. Michelle decided to join. One evening, the center held a cultural night. Students brought dishes from their homes. They played music and performed dances. Michelle set up a small table with photographs of her family garden and her favorite books from childhood. She told her new friends how planting seeds had taught her patience and care, and how reading stories had sparked her imagination. As she spoke, faces in the crowd lit up with understanding. Michelle felt a warm sense of belonging. Here, she found friends who respected her story and who shared the hope of learning together. Even as she made new friends, Michelle did not forget her family's advice to work hard. She approached each class with determination. If she did not understand a topic, she asked questions after class or visited a study group in the library. She practiced speaking in front of her roommates, and they helped her improve. Over time, Michelle's confidence grew. She raised her hand in class and offered ideas. Her professors listened and responded kindly. Michelle realized that learning was a two-way street. She learned from her teachers, and they learned from her unique perspective. Outside her classes, Michelle wanted to use her skills to help others. She remembered how her parents always asked about her day and encouraged her to share what she knew. Inspired by this memory, Michelle started a project called Storytelling for Change. She invited local children from nearby schools to visit campus. Michelle and a group of student volunteers read stories to the children under a big oak tree. After each story, Michelle asked simple questions. How would you feel in this story? What would you do? The children raised their hands eagerly and shared their thoughts. They listened attentively to one another. Michelle watched their eyes shine as they discovered new ideas and new words. Through Storytelling for Change, Michelle learned that education could connect people of all ages. She saw shy children become bold as they spoke. She saw words unlock imagination. She felt the power of stories to build confidence and to teach empathy. This project gave Michelle a sense of purpose. She realized that her own experience of learning, whether in her family garden or in front of a lamp with a good book, could become a gift she offered to others. By the end of her first year at Princeton, Michelle had grown in many ways. She felt more comfortable in her own skin and proud of her background. She knew that she belonged at this college just as much as anyone else. She had found community, built new skills, and discovered her love of leadership. As she walked across the campus lawn at sunset, Michelle smiled. She thought of her family in Chicago, waiting to hear about her day. She felt their support guiding her forward. With each new dawn at Princeton, Michelle carried her roots of strength and her dreams that knew no boundaries. She was ready to learn, to lead, and to create positive change wherever she went. When Barack Obama became president, Michelle entered the White House with hope and determination. She wanted to help children grow up healthy and strong. She started the Let's Move campaign. Michelle invited kids to the White House garden to plant vegetables. She showed them how to dig small holes, place seeds gently, and water each plant. She taught words like soil, seed, and harvest. Every week she led simple dance sessions on the South Lawn. Children watched and joined in. They learned that moving their bodies could be fun and good for their health. Michelle asked families across the country to try a 7-day healthy challenge. Each day, she suggested writing a single sentence in a journal. On day 1, they wrote, "I ate an apple." On day 2, "I walked in the park." On day 3, "I tried a new vegetable." By the end of the week, families saw small changes in their habits. Michelle believed that small steps, repeated each day, could lead to big results. Alongside health, Michelle cared deeply about education for girls. In 2015, she launched Let Girls Learn. She traveled to Liberia and to Cambodia to meet girls who had few chances to go to school. In Liberia, Michelle walked on dusty roads to a small classroom. The girls sat on wooden benches and shared dreams of becoming doctors and teachers. In Cambodia, she spoke to young women whose families questioned the value of sending girls to class. Michelle used simple words like barrier, opportunity, and empower to explain why every girl deserved a chance to learn. She spoke slowly so all could follow and listened with care as each girl spoke of her hopes. Back at the White House, Michelle brought together teachers, parents, and local leaders. She asked clear questions. How can we help girls stay in school? And what blocks must we remove? In small group talks, people shared ideas on building libraries, providing books, and offering scholarships. Michelle's calm voice and friendly smile inspired communities to work together for girls' education. After her time in the White House, Michelle wrote a memoir called Becoming. In her book, she told the story of her childhood in Chicago, her years at Princeton and Harvard, and her family life in the White House. She spoke of doubts she faced and the courage she found. She chose honest, clear language so readers at all levels could understand. When Becoming was published, readers formed book circles to discuss her journey. They asked questions such as, what lesson did Michelle learn from planting seeds? Or, when did Michelle find her voice? At each event, Michelle reminded listeners, courage is moving forward even when you are afraid. Michelle's work did not end with her memoir. She partnered with schools and community groups to support healthy living and education. She joined local gardens, spoke at schools, and led forums for young people. She encouraged everyone to take one small action for change. She called this the My Action for Change Challenge. Choose a simple step, practice it for a week, and share your story in clear, simple sentences. Michelle Obama's journey from the White House to communities around the world shows that positive change begins with small acts of kindness, clear communication, and steady determination. She proved that caring for health, standing up for education, and sharing honest stories can inspire many. Her message lives on. Each of us has the power to change our world, one small step at a time. Michelle's journey began in a small house on Chicago's South Side, where her parents taught her the value of hard work, love, and learning. From helping her father plant seeds in their backyard garden to reading books by the soft glow of a lamp, Michelle built deep roots of strength. At Princeton, she learned to find community and confidence. sharing her own story and leading projects that gave children a voice. As First Lady in the White House, she launched Let's Move to encourage healthy living and let girls learn, to give girls around the world a chance at education. Finally, through her memoir Becoming, she showed us that courage is moving forward even when we feel afraid. The most important lesson from Michelle's story is that small, steady actions can lead to big change. When she planted one seed after another, she did not see a garden overnight. When she spoke one simple word to a student, she did not see a movement begin immediately. But over time, those small steps grew into gardens, healthy habits, and new schools. She reminds us that each of us can make a difference by using our own strengths. Whether that means planting ideas, sharing stories, or speaking up for what is right. You can apply this lesson in your own life today. Choose one small action that matters to you. Maybe you will read a page in English each day, help a friend learn a new word, or bring fresh fruit to share with your family. Practice that action every day this week. Notice how your confidence grows. Notice how small steps add up to real progress. Remember that your own story, like Michelle's, can inspire others when you share it with kindness and clarity. Congratulations on listening to Michelle's full story. By following along, you have practiced English listening and understanding. You are improving your skills one step at a time. Which program did Michelle launch to help children live healthier lives? A. Let's Move. B. Let Girls Learn. Please comment your answer, A or B, in the comment section below. We love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel for more inspiring English learning content. Your support helps us continue making high-quality lessons. If you can, please consider donating. In the early days, creating free content takes time and resources. Your donations keep us motivated and able to help you learn English. Thank you for your support.